Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
Hey guys, and Happy New Year! Oh man, can you believe it's already 2017, and by the time you're listening to this, it may be 2018, 2019, 2020, and beyond. So I want to wish wherever you are in the world, your family, your business, your health, your everything, a Happy New Year. Hope 2017 and beyond treats you unlike any other year you've had before. And I wanted to break into the new year with a bang, and that's exactly what this episode is. I sit down with Kyle and Jason. We're talking about the SCANGRIP color match lights. Now, you've been seeing these lights all around the industry. Everyone's starting to have them. They're kind of like that thing that it's like, crap, if I don't have it, I feel left out, but don't feel that way. But I'll tell you the issue that I was running into, and it was perfect timing that Kyle reached out to me and said, hey, would you be interested in doing a show about these lights? And as any of you that follow me on social anywhere across Facebook or Instagram or whatever know that I've been, fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure which one yet, been doing a lot of correction and coatings. I guess fortunately for my bank account because there's money in it, but and I've started to enjoy it. I know I've just shoved out a bunch of information about how you don't have to only do correction and coatings to be profitable as a detailer, and I still stand behind that. But in my world of detailing, I've been working with some to be honest, I've been doing some SEO back-end stuff on my website as some experimenting, and it's actually been turning out really well, which I hope to talk about at some point this year, how I've done that and how you can increase your profitability with search engine optimization, as well as my Google AdWords course, which you may hear a little testimonial in this episode for my AdWords course from Roman, who bought it and had me do some work. But before I get all sidetracked on that, I want to stick with the lights. The issue that I've been running into is that I was running off those lights that the Husky lights that you see at Home Depot, or the basic LED lights that you see a lot of people using. I was using those for my paint correction, just like everyone does. But the problem I was running into is that I would have the paint perfect in the lights, and then right before I coated the car, I'd pull it out in the natural sun to make sure the paint was perfect before I started applying the coating, and it wouldn't be perfect. And so it was really frustrating that I was trying to correct the paint, and in my light, which, as we all know, your light is your everything when you're correcting paint, I was reading that the paint was perfect. But I pulled it out in the natural light, and it wasn't perfect. So this is a very frustrating in and out, of the garage with the customer's car, etc. Very frustrating, especially as you apply the coating. And if you're working on soft paint, you don't want to be marring the paint as you're coating. So you really want as clear visibility as possible. And I wasn't achieving that with the lights that I currently had. So that was becoming a really frustrating issue. Right along that time, Kyle reaches out and says, hey, we'll send you out a kit. Would you like to do a podcast episode? I'm like, dude, thank you, because I need to do something. This is really frustrating. So I just wonder how many of you are going through that same issue of just being frustrated with the readings from the current lights that you have not being accurate as the natural sun. Of course, if you live in climates where the sun isn't out that much, you really don't have to worry about it if you're not worried about doing perfect work. But for me in sunny Southern California, it is sunny most of the time. So the client is going to see that. So I needed something better, and I wasn't getting better with the lights that I currently had. So this episode comes in a timely manner, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you have any questions about the lights, please reach out to me or Kyle or Jason and ask away. The way I look at it, a lot of people have been saying, well, those lights are expensive. Well, we're willing to spend $400+ on buffers to correct the paint, but what does that matter if you can't even see the imperfections that you're trying to correct? So don't be afraid to invest a little bit. Even if you don't get the whole kit, and the tripod or the stands or whatever, even if you got the handheld one, maybe not the pen light, but the handheld one that can hang and has a magnet on the back that we'll talk about in the show, even if you got that one, that would be a significant investment. And I already posted a picture of the kit on my Facebook page, and a lot of people commenting saying what a great investment it was getting the lights. So, of course, if you have any questions, reach out to me or Kyle directly, and we'll get you squared away. Also, Just a little bit of housekeeping items here. I'm trying not to make this intro too long, but I'm really excited for 2017 and the podcast, and I just wanted to let you guys in on a little bit of back-end work that I'm working on. I'm working on teaming up with a lot of different brands to bring you better content and better education on different products that are out there, just not the mainstream ones that you hear about all the time, but other brands that'll make you a better detailer. And that's really my motto for this. Everything that I'm trying to put out there is to make you a better detailer, to make me a better detailer, because honestly, through talking to people just like in this episode, Jason and Kyle, I mean, it makes me a better detailer with the products that they offer through these lights. And I want to extend that to you. I have a couple interviews with a couple bigger name celebrities that I can't talk about yet, but I will, or you'll see it come through. Of course, we have the big classic car show coming up at the end of January. And if you guys want free tickets for that and you're going to be in the LA area, let me know. I can get you free tickets to the classic auto show at the LA Convention Center. I believe that's the last weekend of January. Mike Phillips is going to be there, Chip Foose, Wayne Carini, the whole Auto Geek team. That'll be really fun. I just secured a new studio space for the podcast, and it's going to enable me to do a lot more videos. So look for more videos in 2017, a lot more Facebook Live videos. So that's one thing that I'm going to try to do with these SCANGRIP lights. Now that I have this little garage studio set up, I'm set up a little bit better for to be able to produce those videos. Not too worried about being fancy with it, more worried about pumping out the content. So I hope you enjoy a lot more content from me in 2017. If you have any content ideas, any products that you want to see tested, and maybe you don't want to spend the money on the product, but you want to see the results or what it can achieve, let me know. I'll do a video on it. But I really value your guys' feedback, and you guys are really good at giving that to me. So Facebook message, email me, reach out. I love communicating with you guys as my audience. So if there's anything you really, really, really want to see, any people you want to see on the show, the best thing to do with that, because I get a lot of guest recommendations, would be to the person that you want to see on the show, send me as much info on them as you have. So if you have a phone number, if you have an email, a direct email, any of that, send that over to me and I'll try to get them on the show. So I hope you enjoy this episode, the very first episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast in 2017 with Kyle and Jason. All right, welcome to episode 263 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host, and today on the show, we have Kyle Clark from Extreme Detailing, who's been on the show before when we talked about RV detailing, and we have a newbie, Jason Cox, with Innovative Tools, and what we're going to be talking about today is the SCANGRIP lights, the lights that you've been seeing everyone starting to get, everyone starting to use, and ranting and raving about how good they are. So, Kyle, Jason, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jimbo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I've been nursing a cold, so if I cough unexpectedly or my voice changes, that's what it is. So, Kyle, why don't we start with you? And if people want to go back to your previous show and hear about your background into detailing, they can do that. But tell us about your journey with SCANGRIP and how it came to be, and how all that worked out.
Well, everybody, especially detailers, we want the best lights, we want the best polishers, we want the best products. And I've been detailing for 18 years now, and I've probably spent hundreds and hundreds, maybe even over 1,000 or more in LED headlamps and different flashlights. I'd find myself going to, Amazon or Home Depot and looking to see what is the newest flashlight out there, buy it, and it didn't work. And so I have a bunch of flashlights that I use for camping and stuff we never use for detailing anymore. But I was searching for that light. I've used some other lights that have been out there. They're AA battery or AAA battery ran, or they're very, very expensive. and I just wasn't happy. A lot of guys will know that the sun is the best lighting, and we just couldn't find a good light, except for halogen. I have one of those big yellow halogen lights you buy from Home Depot, and they're hot. They'll heat up your entire, garage or shop or wherever you're working. But they did give off that warm light that everybody searches for. And I did find that worked pretty well. I just couldn't stand moving the thing, because it was always hot. So I, last year, as I was walking around the SEMA show, I came across the Innovative Tools booth, and I noticed that they had their Sun Match light, which is the handheld light, and it won best product, new product of SEMA 2016. So I was really interested in this, and right away I bought the whole kit. After I talked with Jason a little bit, and he told me about Color Match and how it's used in body shops. And I said, well, if this thing is like the sun, this is what we're looking for. And I've been a believer ever since. And that kind of started my time with Innovative Tools, and now I've worked for them at SEMA, and we're doing some really cool stuff together. And Jason can tell you a little bit more about Color Match and where he came from.
Yeah, Jason, I want to get into that. So you have more of a body shop background, as you told me. So can you talk about kind of your journey to find SCANGRIP and your role in that, and then why it's important to have something like a Color Match and have something like this light versus just the run-of-the-mill light that you would buy at any hardware store that the majority of detailers are currently using?
Sure. I just want to comment, Kyle. I remember you vividly the first year at SEMA, coming back and how excited you were
a lot of ways
about the lights and hounding me. When can I get them? When can I get them? Very persistent.
I was like a kid in a candy shop, man. I was like, this is awesome.
Well, Kyle, especially being a mobile detailer, I mean, talking about trying to move a light, not only if it's hot, but if it's big and bulky and annoying, you're just not going to want to set it up, So I could see how, all these different, from the match pen to the headlamp to the handheld light, there's so many different ways that you can utilize these lights,
Exactly. They're great in the shop, and with the multi-match on their stands, and they're also great mobile, and I do both. So it's definitely a game changer for the detailing industry. With I've kind of dubbed them my paint inspection lights. They don't just find swirls; they find a lot of reds, and they find great paint too. And so I like the inspection lights. I think Mike Phillips is calling them the swirl finder light now. And it's not just a sun match light. It finds these flaws that we have been looking for, that we as detailers make money from. Every flaw we find that we can fix for a customer, we make money from it. So they are definitely worth. They've paid for themselves many times, and many times with my business.
Mm. So Jason, let's get back to you. And
yeah.
Do you remember the question? Because I barely do. But if you do, we'll roll with it.
Yeah, I remember. I'll give you a quick background, and then kind of was a 3:00 in the morning call on how I found out about the lights, and I'll get to it. I grew up restoring mid-50s Porsches with my dad, and that's kind of how I learned the car restoration and kind of how to do body work and frame off restorations, Pebble Beach, Monterey cars. Went to work for a Fortune 500 company in the automotive industry. Went through 2 buyouts And after the second buyout, I was pretty dissatisfied. I went to Innovative Tools in 2004 as their first employee next to the owner. Got to travel about a year later to an Australian distributor named Sydney Automotive. They're the biggest paint equipment, sandpaper, polishes distributor in Australia. Got to know those guys quite well. They were at Automechanica in Frankfurt, Germany in 2014. The principal or the owner of Sydney Automotive called me at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, "Jason, do I have a product for you?" And we talked about it. And Innovative as a company, we design and manufacture painting racks, storage carts, material handling carts, metal objects, metal products to make body shops more tidy and more efficient. That's how you make money, is being efficient. So a color match light to us from a third party was completely foreign, and the only game in town that we knew of was the 3M Sun Gun, which I bought one 10 years ago for $1,000 is how much they were, to just visually inspect paint and to do any color matching with a spray out card or on a variant deck. And the prices come down, but everybody's complaint with that product was it was a halogen. It got hot. If you dropped it, you'd break a bulb, and that was $60.
It looks
and
like
the batteries were NiCad.
Yeah, and it looks like a battery-operated screw gun with a light instead of a tip.
Yeah, a 25-year-old
yeah.
NiCad screw gun, mind you. Yes.
Exactly.
Good product. I mean, it still does the job. But here comes this guy from Sydney Automotive, Ray McMartin, with this handheld unit that's LED for $149 that does the same thing. So, maybe 2 weeks before the 2014 SEMA show, the owner of SCANGRIP is from Denmark. He's out in New York visiting with his family. We say, fly over to Minneapolis and let's check this thing out. He comes in, we go to one of our test shops, and we have a couple spray out cards. It's like a 4x6 card. You would spray out against what your variant deck or what the paint coat is, and you'd match it against the vehicle, and you need sunlight to do that, and that's where you use your sun gun to see if you need to add more of this or tint or to the paint formula. So we compared the lights, and we couldn't get it to work. We could not get the product from Denmark to get the right color match. 3 of us couldn't pick it out. The principal, the company owner, he's more of an owner, and this was a relatively new product for them. The color matching, SCANGRIP's been around for, I believe, 107 years. Started making vice grips and pliers and spring coil compressors, got into the LED market, and then got into the first ones to get into the color matching LED market. So, whatever they're doing is good. So I had to drive the owner of SCANGRIP back to the airport, which is about a 30-minute drive, and there was about 10 words said. He was extremely, extremely defeated. So the next day, their technical rep and engineer call us, and they tell us how to test it. Everything being relative, the SCANGRIP light is more of a yellow hue. The sun gun is more of a white, a bluish hue. And if you're shining them both back and forth at the same time, everybody's going to probably pick the one they're used to, which was a sun gun. So we went out to 2 more test shops and brought the lights and said, start using this. We took the sun guns out and said, we'll pay for any rework, any rental, any lost time, anything if these lights are bad and they don't work. In the meantime, SCANGRIP wanted to come to SEMA, and we said, if we determine these lights don't work, we'll see you at SEMA, shake your hand, but you won't have a spot in our booth. But go ahead and plan it. And they said, well, we will be there. So November 2014, it was the first time that we brought the lights there. And that's all I talked about for 4 days was lights. It was the hit of the show back then with color matching. Or when the body shop. So we brought 500 of the cases in, 500 of the handhelds. Those sold out at the show in 4 days. So we started, I asked SCANGRIP, well, how much can you get in a container? And they kind of laughed and said, nobody's ever done that. Well, the United States is a little bit bigger than Denmark, or, 331 million people. There's 44,000 body shops in U.S. and Canada. So we ordered 5 containers of them. The first 2 sold out before they hit our loading dock.
Oh, my gosh. 5
which
containers?
Which was just amazing.
Wow.
Yes. We were limiting distribution at the time until we could really kind of get our heads around this.
Right.
So just kind of laid low for about 6 months after the first 2 containers. They came in. SCANGRIP had a tough time keeping up with production. And before you know it, we're at SEMA 2015. And here comes Kyle. And we knew detailers were using the bigger light just for good light.
Right.
But none of us really knew why. So I think, Kyle, you were at the booth 3 or 4 times, and Kyle's a hard guy to forget. He's 6'5"?
I'm 6'3".
Kyle, what? 6. Okay.
I'm a big boy.
Well, I'm a whopping 5'7", and when a guy's 6'3", yeah, you remember him.
You're right.
So
plus that face. I mean,
but he was very direct, very to the point. I really want these. Really excited about it. And Kyle, I think you got one of the kits at the show. Yeah, I think you took one home with you.
I think I found you on the first day, and I'm like, oh, I'm buying this right now. I'm not waiting until the end. If you want to hold my money, I'll come get it at the end of the show. But there was no way I was not going home with one. And you had a handful of them.
So Kyle, was it just that you could tell that if it could color match and act like the sun, you wanted it? Was that this? What was the main selling feature for you?
That I played with so many different lights, and like Jason was saying, part of it was, and I can let Jason talk about this, is he explained to me the scale, CRI.
The color rendering index.
Yeah. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Can we jump to that real quick?
So explain that.
Lots of people will tell you lots of different things, but a CRI, and now there's CRI Plus, which all the SCANGRIP lights are CRI Plus. It measures on 15 different colors, where a lot of I guess there are some copycats out now. They only measure their CRI on 8. So when they say CRI, you really should be looking for CRI Plus. So color rendering index is basically how a light shows color, or truly shows color. And kind of the example I give is, because it's a numbered scale, if 0 is darkness, you're in a locked room, can't see anything, and 100 would be absolute, perfect, noon sunlight. No haze, no fog, nothing. The best light you could get is 100. And it's easy to get from 0 to 30 or, to 50. It's a diminishing return. It's, 91, 92, 95. It starts to get, when those numbers jump, it takes a lot more technology, and nobody's at 100. So an average LED, if you've ever looked at one, they're kind of sterile, they're kind of stark, they're kind of white. A standard LED on a color rendering index, on the low side would be 70, on the high side would be 80. The closer to 100 you are, the better. Anything I know for color matching, you need to be over 90. The SCANGRIP lights are 95 on a color rendering index. And I think they played it safe because I had a paint company called PPG, flew down to their corporate offices, and they had them tested in their lab at 96.
That's incredible.
So, yeah.
Because one thing, I was just sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say this conversation is so timely because, and that is so applicable to the story that I'm about to tell. Because I was working on a car, had the basic lights that pretty much every detailer currently has, which I think is going to change. But in my light, I was getting perfect correction. Then I pulled the car out and noticed it was far from perfect. And that was so frustrating because I kept thinking well, I have the light isn't showing me anything, it looks fine, but then I take it out to the sun, which me and Kyle had talked about is like the real, the real life application. That's when a customer is going to see their car. And if there's imperfections with the sun, that's an issue. But how do you, if you can't polish the car out in the sun, but then your lights aren't showing you anything, how are you supposed to correct something that you can't see? And that's when Kyle was like, dude, you got to see these lights, And if you're getting
and the
96,
other important...
Go ahead. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, the other important... Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
I've had the opposite where we've done paint correction with the SCANGRIP lights, and there's still some really deep, we call them rids, and it just, the customer was only paying for 2 steps polishing, wasn't a full-on, correction. Pull it out in the sun, couldn't see them. Inside with the SCANGRIP lights, I could, because the sun is so bright, even though it has the right color, it's flooding out the paint. It's, it's whitewashing it. Pull it back inside the shop or the garage, and I'm looking at my lights, and I can see it with SCANGRIP lights. So I like that it has the right color and the right brightness. You can tune it up, tune it down a little bit, and still see those flaws that the sun wasn't showing. Now, that's not going to be the case for every vehicle, but I've had it on multiple cars where, I pulled it out in the sun. I'm like, whoa, that looks way better than it did in the shop or in the garage for the owner. And the owner was blown away how it looked inside. We pulled it outside. It was even better. So, I do like the fact that it saves time where you're not pulling your customers' cars outside every time you finish a panel or when you finished one side to inspect it. How much time does that waste?
Exactly.
Get it all done, get it, cleaned, coated, sealed, whatever you're going to protect with, present it to the customer, move on to the next customer.
I like your story better, Kyle.
Kyle, has it helped you sell a job to a customer who might be on the fence?
It's a good sales tool because I've had customers where we've stopped by to give them an estimate, and I walk up with this light, and they're like, "Oh, well, let me pull it out in the sun." I'm like, "No need. We have the tool for it." And I pull the light out, and they say, "What's that?" I'm like, you explain it. It looks different than any other flashlight.
Yeah, it does not look like a flashlight. Yes, correct. Yep. And that was done by design. Yep.
Yeah. It's, and, I've even been in a body shop to look at something before and stuck it on the wall because it's magnetic. And they're like,
that's
what
awesome.
the heck? And I'm like, well, I didn't want to put it on the ground because you put it on the ground, it's going to pick up metal flakes and get that attached to the magnet. So I just stuck it on the cabinet, I think it was.
Good idea.
So
smart guy.
It's a good sales tool for a customer to see, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. He's professional. He's not just using a Husky, Home Depot light or
now you're taking
which
personal shots at me, Kyle. Come on. How'd you know that was the light?
Hey, I had Husky too. I have them in my garage.
I'm teasing.
They're sitting there. I haven't used them in a long time.
Collecting dust.
No, that's what we used to use.
Right.
I mean, what everybody's using that, and those lights rely on the LED plus a reflector, around it and it gives you that flood that everybody's looking for work. But these lights don't have that reflector. It is just the LED in the middle, and it has a really pretty ring around it and a nice handle on the multi-match, but it has no reflector to force light. It just shows you that direct spot that we're all looking for. And Mike Phillips said it the best way on his recent review of the light. It's pretty cool that this light, it shows well on camera and photo.
Yep. Yeah.
When you take a picture, I've seen a lot of detailers, and I've done it too with my phone, where I turn my flashlight on and I go to snap a picture, and
did I lose you guys? Oh, there, you're back. Sorry.
That clarity.
Yep. Sorry, you cut out for a sec.
So
you're back. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, you cut out for a second, then now you're back.
Okay. Well, I was saying you do see that clarity with the SunMatch light when you're taking pictures, when you want to do your before and after picture to use it as promotion for your business or show your customer, hey, look, this is what we did. So that's a really good point that Mike Phillips from AutoGeek pointed out that I knew, but he was like, he actually said it. I'm like, oh, it works great. But Mike actually did that.
That's the first light he's ever been to get all three. To do it in person, to do it in a photo, and to do it on motion or film,
video.
Wow.
Video. Yes, thank you.
One thing I just saw that I didn't even think about, and I don't think, I don't know, obviously this isn't the main purpose or the main usage purpose, but one thing that I just saw on the SCANGRIP website was because with the headlamp, you can use the light on the interior of the car. Do you guys have any experience using it on the inside to light up the inside of the car?
That's
the headlamp.
When we do the interior.
What's that?
I said, we use it.
I didn't even think about that until I saw these pictures.
Well, what the headlamp is and how it's different is the owner of SCANGRIP was visiting us in March of 2015. My hobby is sound quality car audio. I wanted it for my buddies and all that. When you're looking under a dash and taking the whole dash out or in a trunk, whatever, you want a good headlamp. And I noticed there was a feature where you could wave your hand in front of it to turn it on and off. I said, will you bring me a couple in your suitcase? I'll buy them from you, and he's like, yeah. I'll bring you some, Jason. So he brings it to us, and the light pattern on it, a normal headlamp just shines straight ahead of you. The SCANGRIP headlamps, it's 180-degree view beam pattern. So if you turn your head, the light comes with you, and it has your peripheral vision as well. Our company owner liked it so well, he placed an order that day, and he wasn't even thinking about it. And we've sold heaps and heaps of those. And it's not just for seeing in the inside of a vehicle. It's runners, HVAC, plumbers, My mom has one for walking her dog at night.
Fish
or hunter.
Yeah.
The iView, yeah. Now the iMatch 2, that is debuted at SEMA, and we should have those sometime in first quarter. The iView is blue. That's on a color rendering index. That's going to be a standard LED, right around 75.
It's a work
the
headlamp.
iMatch, yeah, it's a work headlamp, correct. Yep. The iMatch 2 will be on the color rendering index of 95.
Awesome.
So you're talking about the iMatch 2, you bring that into, we've talked about the regular, the first generation of sun match lights with the multi-match, which is the large light that hangs up on the 6-foot roll around tripod or the 10-foot tripod. You have the handheld, which is the sun match, and then you have everybody knows the pen match light. This year at SEMA, Innovative debuted the iMatch 2, which is 2 light in one, the multi-match 2, and the sun match 2. So it kind of took it even to another level. We took we went from the base model, or we'll call it the good model. Now we're at the limited edition. This is a really cool light where it does 2 different Kelvin temperatures now. So they have the sun match 2, which does a 4,500 Kelvin, which we're used to with the first sun match. And then it does a 6,500 Kelvin, which is still the CRI of 95. But the difference is it is a whiter light. So it does color matching as well, but does it on different colors. What I found is finding imperfections on dark color paint with the 6,500 Kelvin, the whiter light shows up almost a little bit better, or just we'll say a little different than the 4,500 Kelvin, which is the warmer light. And that works really well, the warm light on the lighter colors, the whites, the silvers, the yellows. And so it's not that they've changed. It's what would you say, Jason? It's their
deluxe edition.
Deluxe
I
edition.
would say
it's the difference between an XLT versus a limited on a vehicle. They still are going to both be great. You're going to have those people that are going to want the deluxe edition, even though you may see 5% or 10% better flaws. The original lights are definitely awesome. I mean, I'm using them constantly. But it will be fun to have these something new. It's like the new iPhone. You get the newest, biggest phone.
Sure.
Yep. So,
of course, gotta have the latest and greatest.
The headlamp comes in.
Some of the other features I don't think we mentioned. They do have a glass lens on it versus a plastic lens, meaning sometimes you pick up a dirty rag and you clean the lens, and if it's plastic, they get scratched, and that's the last thing you want to do with something you need. You don't want the light to diffuse through a scratch any different way. So it's a hardened glass lens, and that's on all of the lights except for the headlamp, which is a curved and that's that is made, I believe, out of Lexan, which is a very strong scratch-resistant plastic. Another good feature, the batteries, they are lithium-ion battery, the latest technology in batteries, similar to any modern tablet or phone, has the same, real high-end battery technology. They can't be overcharged or undercharged. A cool little feature about the pen light, it does have a focus. You move the front of the light in and out, and that kind of gets your beam pattern. The sun match, that light is waterproof. It's got a really neat belt clip on it that has a hook built in that kind of flips out in case you can't stick it on a detailer belt, but you have a little place to hook it. You can go ahead and do that. The bottom adjusts almost like a kickstand where you can prop it up and shine it towards something. So you can use it hands-free. And Kyle did mention earlier, it does have a magnet in the bottom. It's a pretty strong magnet for, again, using it in conjunction with the kickstand to kind of prop it up. Moving up to the multi-match light, that light also has the built-in kickstand to it, a glass lens. That one is fully waterproof to a depth of a meter, about 3 feet. We've tested it. Yes, it works very well. The multi-match, the bigger light, another feature is you can use it on battery, and it does have a long battery life, 3 hours on high, 6 hours on the low setting. But it also, the way you charge it is like a wall cable. So you screw that into the back of the light, and you can leave it on forever. So if you want to use it on electricity, you're not hurting anything. Overall, it's just a great product. They're just well designed. They look nice. They look better than a light at Home Depot.
They look very
the European nice for mobile detailers.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to your point earlier, Kyle, when you show up to do an evaluation on a car and you pop out with this light versus a regular flashlight or whatever, not only is it looking better to your customer, which I would argue is a really important thing, the way you look and the way you're presenting yourself, but also it helps the detailer see do a better evaluation because they're being able to see all the flaws. Jason, by the way, you nailed it on all those benefits. That was great.
I love it.
Well, I didn't talk about the warranty.
Great warranty.
I should have talked about the warranty.
That's okay.
SCANGRIP is behind it all. With the SunMatch handheld light being USB rechargeable, I love it because my van, I always have either my headlamps plugged in charging, or I have my SunMatch lights plugged in recharging. So that way, when we get to an appointment, I never have to say, "Oh, guys, let's go recharge this one," or we have to wait on it to charge. We always have it ready to go. We make sure that the multi-match lights, if we're going to do a paint correction mobile, are charged before we get there. So I don't have to plug it into the customer's house and have 3 polishers going at once and the lights plugged in. It makes it nice. But another cool feature I love about the Multi-Match 2 that I've been playing with is it has a USB cable,
yes.
You twist it in the back, but you can plug it into your cigarette lighter, and I can charge my Multi-Match 2 light, the big light, from my van as we're going to appointments.
That's awesome.
And that has been pretty cool. I've been very happy with that feature. The docking station for the SunMatch light is also, I wouldn't say it's nowhere near as strong as the magnet on the light itself, but it's strong enough you can attach it to your workbench or the wall of your van, which I've done. Just stick it up, it's out of the way, and it's not going to fall off. And when I need it, I just plug it in, or the floor of the van. So those are my favorite features as a mobile detailer. I use that sun match light more than anything. The pen is great for quick inspection of a flaw. It looks good, nice and professional in your button-up shirt, and pull it out and shine it. But it does look like a flashlight. But when I have that other light hanging from my pocket or my belt loop or in my DH belt, people really tend to notice, and I get questions about it all the time.
Do you ever just pull up with like the headlamp on and then maybe a guy rolling the big light behind you and then your other light hanging off, and you're like, hey, I'm Kyle, I'm here to do the eval?
Oh yeah, exactly. We just attach them. The lights have a magnetic bracket you can buy. It's one of the accessories to the stands, so people can attach it to the inside of paint booths. So, we'll just slap a couple magnets on the side of the van, and no, don't do that. You'll dent your van. But we'll pull up with lights.
They're the rare earth neodymium. Yeah,
they're very strong magnets. If you stick them on something hard,
I love that. I love that feature about it. I really love that feature.
And they're encased in rubber, so you don't scratch the surface.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But they're such a strong magnet that in an environment where there's metal cutting or shaving or sanding, like a body shop, the floating dust will pick up on it. So, Jimbo, I can... I'm going to send you one of those magnetic brackets to test. I think would be valuable for you.
Sure.
And SCANGRIP, when we talked about that color rendering index, they make a pen light in the same exact body, everything as the match pen.
Okay.
Their color match line is branded as black with red accents. Their high-end work light line is branded as black with blue accents.
Got it.
Everything about the light is identical except the CRI, but when you shine them next to each other, I bring them to trade shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm comparing a SCANGRIP to a SCANGRIP and not an off-brand to a SCANGRIP.
Right.
You visually, the light bulb, if you have to explain to somebody, you show that to them, and you see the difference in color temperature right away.
Right.
The hues. One is white, looks like the moon. The other is yellow, looks like the sun. Bingo, got it. No more questions. I have it.
Nice.
It's a really good visual.
Nice.
And it's a good way to show other people what you have.
Right.
Why is this different? Well, this is why.
Yeah. So if I guess the most important question is, if guys want to buy the light, how can they get it? How can they see more of the light? How can they get their hands on one of these?
Well, if you're in Southern California, detailing.com has them. They're available through them. If you're out of the Florida area, Auto Geek now is the distributor and or retailer for them. And we also have who are the other two that have been distributing, Jason?
We've got up in New York, DI, Detailed Image. They carry them. And then kind of over, kind of mid-East Coast is Phil with Detailer's Domain.
Yeah.
He does a wonderful job too with them.
And what about
all the authorized resellers we have are awesome. They're great to work with. They just don't buy the product without using it first.
Right.
So very supportive, very easy to get. You can call us if you have any questions about it.
Yeah, you want to give out your website for people to contact you?
Sure. There's some videos there. Innovative-tools.com. www.innovativtools.com.
Beautiful.
Some people only use one N, so.
You also can go on their Innovative Tools Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
Is that just facebook.com/innovative tools?
I do not manage that, so I don't know.
Let me see if I can find it.
I do know if you Google innovative tools, we should be the first hit.
You are, definitely. And I'll link it up.
Yeah, organically we are. Yeah, we are the first hit.
And they make great detail cards too. They're awesome stuff.
Cool. It's actually facebook.com/innovative.tools. .5. I'm not sure if that .5 matters. But I'll link it up in the show notes for guys that want to know. And Kyle, how about you? How can people find you?
My Facebook page, Kyle Clark, Extreme Detailing 909, or on Instagram, Extreme Detailing USA, XTREME Detailing USA. And if you guys have questions, send me a private message. I've enjoyed working with SCANGRIP and doing some, they've sponsored me in this, and it's been great. Been a great company to work for. And we will also be out in Florida for Detail Fest.
Yes,
so
in March.
Chat lights then. And it's something that, I wouldn't put my name on it unless I really believed in it and being with them. Like Jason said, I was like a kid in a candy store at SEMA. I was like, man, I got to get these. And I've been telling everybody about them. And I've even, been able to sell some to some of my local body shops that have blown their minds. It is basically, the first light that I've really been happy with for detailing and interior detailing and exterior detailing.
Hope you guys enjoyed that one with Kyle and Jason. And before we take off, I just want to remind you that everything can be found at autodetailingpodcast.com. And as most of you know, I have a Google AdWords course for sale at autodetailingpodcast.com/resources. And I wanted to give you guys a little testimonial of a student who recently took the course. So here it is, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast.
Hey Jimbo, this is Roman with Elite Detailing Service in Joliet, Plainfield area of Chicago, Illinois. And I just wanted to say thank you for setting me up on your Google AdWords where you took care of all the work for me. I've definitely seen a big increase in my business this winter as compared to last winter, which is great because this winter's been really cold, much colder than last winter. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and I definitely recommend your listeners check out your program and your video and see if it's right for them. Thanks again, Jimbo.